Welcome back. This is the online learning platform at Department of Civil Engineering, BMS Institute of Technology and Management. I am Rajesh Gopinath and you are along with me on the course Water Supply and Treatment Engineering, previously also called as Environmental Engineering. And if you recollect last lesson, we had spoken about rapid sand filters. In today's lesson, we shall be talking about pressure filter. Now, if you can kindly look at slide 4, all right, it is still imperative that though you give a preliminary treatment or a primary treatment, okay, you still need to engage the treatment of filtration to remove the fine solid particles. However, and nevertheless, after filtration is given, the water still has to be disinfected, okay, before it can reach the public supply. Let's go on to the next slide, 5. So in this presentation, I'll be briefly introducing you to the concept of pressure filter, its construction aspects, the working principle, okay, the advantages and disadvantages before we summarize, and I list the references for you. Now, if you remember in slide 5, okay, the structure that you saw was totally different from the slow sand filters, the rapid sand filters. Slow sand filters and rapid sand filters were concrete structures, huge structures, massive structures, and they were open to atmosphere. But in that image in slide 5, you see a container, okay, which is housed inside a room and it is closed, okay. So let's move on to slide 6. Now, why do you call it a pressure filter? The answer is very simple, because unlike the slow sand filter and your rapid sand filter, which operates at atmospheric pressure, here the entire setup is exposed to a pressure which is greater than that. Okay, therefore it is called as a pressure filter, and the pressure range is about 3 to 7 kg per centimeter square. Now, you should also understand that that image, that structure that you had seen was inside a room, okay, which means unlike your rapid sand filter and slow sand filter, which caters to filtration process for a locality, a residential, a municipality, the pressure filter cannot satisfy the same. The pressure filter is basically applied for institutions, industries, and small users such as swimming pools. We have basically two types of pressure filter. One is the horizontal and the other is the vertical pressure filter. Now, in the next slide, that is slide number 7, I will show you the difference between horizontal and vertical. But one more aspect which I would like to add on is, if you recollect, in slow sand filters, it was mandatory that the water passes through sedimentation and not through coagulation. In the similar manner, in rapid sand filter, the condition was water must pass through sedimentation and definitely through coagulation. Okay. However, in this case, it is not mandatory that the water has to pass through sedimentation unit and clariflocculation unit. Let us go on to slide 7. So you see two images, the one which is on the left hand side and the brown, that is your vertical pressure filters. The one on your right hand side, the blue image, that is your horizontal vertical filter. Now, typically if you look at a horizontal filter, okay, if you're looking at a horizontal filter, the diameter is about the range of 0.3 to 0.275 meters. In the same manner, when it comes to your vertical filter, it is about 2 to 3 meters, okay. Now, when it comes to your height, the horizontal filter is around 2 to 2.25 meters, but the vertical filter, okay, that is a vertical pressure filter, can go as up to 9 meters. All right, now that's some kind of distinguishing features for you in terms of the dimension, that is the depth and the diameter. So with this, which invariably talks about the volume or the capacity, holding capacity. Now let's move on to the next slide, that is 8. Now, whatever information that I had provided you with respect to the diameter and the height have been mentioned here as well. Now let's look at the rate of filtration. If you recollect, the rate of filtration of a slow sand filter was the least, okay, that was around 100 to 200 liters per hour per square meter of the filter bed. Now this is for the slow sand filters. Rapid sand filter was much better because the rate of filtration was as great as 3000 to 6000 liters per minute per square meter of the filter bed area. In comparison, okay, pressure filter, the rate is enormous. As you can see on the slide, it is 6000 to 15,000 liters per hour per square meter of the filter bed, okay, and this is true because it is at a pressure greater than the atmospheric pressure, okay. Now let's move further on. Unlike your slow sand filter and rapid sand filter, which was made up of RCC, it was a huge open enclosures. They had the inlet chamber, the outlet chamber. Rapid sand filter had appurtenances. All right. Now this is not like that. Now this is a closed setup. It is made up of a concrete base. All right. It has an enclosure or the filter box, as you call it. It is made up of RCC or steel, and definitely strong enough because it has to withstand water. All right. The filter media and the under drainage system. Like your like your rapid sand filter, pressure filter also operates in a similar manner when it comes to the functioning and the cleaning, that is the backwash. But when you actually compare, it's very clear that while the rapid sand filter can treat water of a locality, pressure filter will fail in that mode. And obviously, if I want to clean a rapid sand filter, it is open to atmosphere, a person can enter. But when it comes to the pressure filter, it is very difficult and you need to provide manholes. Let's look at slide 9. Okay, so whatever I was speaking so far, the same has been represented schematically in slide 9. So look at the components. As I said, it has a steel enclosure, that is the filter case, okay, inside which it has the filter media, it has the base media, it has the under drainage system, all right, okay, and then just like your rapid sand filters, you have inlet pipe coming in, outlet pipe going out, okay, and you also have a pipeline which is meant for backwash. So more or less the pressure filter operates just like a rapid sand filter, the only difference being the construction aspects in terms of its holding capacity, and of course the main key aspect with respect to the pressure that it is acting upon. Slide 10 shows you one more impression of pressure filter. This is of course the image which has been taken during construction or fabrication from a industry, okay. I'm sure this will give you a better picture of what exactly a slow sand filter would look like and how much of space is available for an individual or a human being to enter in case if there is any maintenance issue. Let's look at slide 11. Now, if you recollect, I had spoken that when it comes to filter media, mostly we had always discussed single media, but yes, we can also go for the dual media approach wherein you also use anthracite alongside filter sand to enhance or improve the capacity of filtration. Slide 11 basically presents the same information. Let's go to slide 12. Now let's try to understand how the pressure filter works. Now when the filter is basically working, okay, valve 1 and 2 will be open, valve 3 and 4 are closed. Let's try to understand what these valves are. Valve 1 is which permits the raw water to enter the filter chamber, all right. Now valve 2 is that outlet which drains out filtered water. Valve 4 is that water which drains out water after backwash operation, okay. Now valve 3, so that's the valve which permits water to facilitate backwash. Okay, so I will recap once again. Valve 1 permits raw water for filtration. Valve 2 drains out filtered water. Valve 4 drains out water after backwash. Valve 3 permits water for backwash operation. Now, let's see how the working happens. So, during normal functioning, valve 1 and 2 will remain open, valve 3 and 4 will remain closed. So, when the water enters, when the raw water enters, it has to only pass through valve 1 because valve 3 is closed. Now, what happens here is when the raw water is entering, a coagulant such as alum is added to the raw water in the influent stage itself. Okay, which means the moment the raw water which has got coagulant added with it, the moment it enters the filter chamber, due to the great pressure, okay, automatically the mixing will take place. All right. So now what happens? The water enters the chamber at great pressure. Coagulation also takes place here itself. The mixing takes place vigorously here, and then the water comes down. All right. There is the filter media, which is your sand particles. Okay. Now after sand particles, then the water goes further to the gravel. The basic filtration process has got completed in the filter media itself. So the filtered water moves down to the gravel. From the gravel, it goes down to the under drainage system. From the under drainage system, the water, that is the filtered water, comes out via 2. Okay. Since valve 4 is closed, there is no scope for the raw water to escape. Now, this is your normal functioning. Just like slow sand filters and rapid sand filters, over a period of time, you need to ensure that the filter is cleaned. Okay, because over a period of time, due to clogging or jetting or sand incrustation, all right, it is possible that there is a head loss, there is a negative head, which means the rate of filtration has declined. So you need to clean the filter. So cleaning the filter here is again done just like rapid sand filter by backwash operation. So during the backwash operation, what you need to do is, first you need to close valve number 1. You need to drain out all the water via 2. Then you have to close valve 2, which means there is no water entering and there is no water exiting. Now you need to open valve 3. When you open valve 3, raw water will enter into the under drains, and from the under drains it will rise up via the gravel, then to the filter sand, and then above filter sand. Okay, so basically when the water enters, it will remove all the impurities and carry it along with it above the sand. And this dirty water, which contains all impurities, will come out through 4. Okay, sometimes not just the water, you may also have an additional compressed air also to assist during your backwash operation. Let's move on to slide 13. This is basically a textual recap of what I had explained to you in slide 12. Let us look at the key points. The water, when it enters, coagulant is added to it, of course not mixed. Okay. The water, when it enters the tank, sedimentation and flocculation happens inside the filter itself. All right. Okay. During the working conditions, valve V and 2 are only open, 3 and 4 are closed. Let's go to slide 14. This speaks about cleaning operation. Let's recap. During cleaning operation, 1 and 2, those valves are closed, and only 3 and 4 are open. Okay. Now, finally, after the cleaning is completed, V3 and V4 will once again be closed. V1 and V2 will be reopened. Please remember, just like slow sand filters, rapid sand filters, initially the filtered water would not be consumed or collected for consumption because it would still contain some amount of impurities. All right, now let's look at the advantages. Let us go to slide 15. Now, as straightforward as this possible, you don't have to send the water to sedimentation or coagulation unit, because both sedimentation and coagulation happens effectively inside the filter itself. Okay, this is most ideal when you want to cater to small communities like a institution such as a educational institute like engineering college, or let's say a police station or a jail, or let us say a food processing industry or boiler industries or even swimming pools. While your slow sand filters and rapid sand filters are very huge, okay, these are extremely compact and can be easily kept inside rooms. All right. Now, since all the operations are automatic, there is no need for any manual labor. Let's move on to 16. With so many advantages, there are also disadvantages which follow suit. Okay, it is obvious that this type of filter cannot cater to clean the water for a community as large as a town or a city. It is highly improbable. Okay, therefore not economical. Now, apart from that, also when it comes to the removal of turbidity and bacteria, the efficiency is as low as 80 to 90%, which means you still will have to undertake certain operations and definitely disinfection before you can consume the water. Okay. Now, when it comes to the maintenance and repair, yes, there would be a difficulty because it's a very compact unit. Let's go on to slide 17. Okay. Now, this is basically an assignment for you. You need to draw and practice the filters. Kindly remember that the configuration and the structure are very similar when it comes to the slow sand and rapid sand. What differs is the dimensions with respect to the depth and the diameter, which was initially briefed to you in the beginning of this presentation. Let's move on to slide 18. So let us summarize. So a pressure filter is very similar to your rapid sand filter, the only difference being it is enclosed and it's in a steel compartment. Okay. Now you can use this for public water supplies with of course a restriction on the quantity that can be filtered. All right. Now these are most applicable when it comes to treating water for swimming pools and industries and small scaled localities. All right. Okay. And moving further, it was understood that though it has a very high rate of filtration, it is not as efficient when it comes to removing turbidity and the microorganisms. Slide 19 shows the various references that I have gone through, and you may kindly go through the same to improve your knowledge. Friends, let's look at slide 20. So next session onwards, we will be solving numericals on filters, wherein we will be designing the basic units, okay, based on the data such as population and per capita demand. So friends, with this I conclude the presentation, and thank you all for your patient hearing. All right, Godspeed, take care. This is Rajesh Gopinath signing out.